Welcome everyone to another video of Vinyl Addict. This is Chili, and the Ice Cube backlash has begun, and I am going to talk about it. Recently he went on the Tucker Carlson show or Twitter show, and now all hell's breaking loose with Hollywood and all the attacks from especially black celebrities who are on the Plantation. Hollywood Plantation is really going after him. So before I get into this, please don't forget to hit the like button, comment on this video, share this video, and if you still haven't, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell for updates. Okay, so with that out of the way, I do have a copy here of Ice Cube's America's Most Wanted with Kill at Will. Now, I am a big fan of Cube ever since back in the day of NWA. And one of the talking points that they are saying is that they just make these blanket statements. All the Cube fans are just disappointed that he went on this show and this and that. No, not all of us are disappointed that he went on the Tucker Carlson show. For one thing, a lot of these podcasts, which I'm seeing in these TikToks about Ice Cube, is that they would say things like, why wouldn't he go to the Oprah show or go on The View or all these places, when he's saying in the interview that he was rejected by all these platforms? Okay, I don't even think they watch the interview itself. They just say, okay, here's your talking points. Tucker Carlson, he is this, and Ice Cube, now he is this. He is a sellout. You know, there's one TikTok where this girl is saying, oh yeah, and he went from Ice Cube X to this now, right? And it's funny how they always try to use Malcolm X as a reference of what being black is, when they don't even understand who Malcolm X really is. He hated the Democratic Party. He hated white liberals. He said black people who vote Democrats, they get what they get, you know? And so they always kind of leave these things out, especially people like Spike Lee, because he knows the truth, and he is there just like D.L. Hughley, who I feel are if the movie Django Unchained with these characters, D.L. Hughley and people like Spike Lee, they are Steven in that film. They are Samuel L. Jackson in The Big House. Ice Cube, of course, is Django, and Hollywood is Candyland, right? And so they're all in that little plantation, and you know, he's just pretty much going to places where he could actually speak his mind, because they obviously have not giving him a platform. Even when he was talking about in his interview with Tucker how his cast for Barbershop would be on Oprah, but he wasn't invited. You know, they're kind of always leaving things out. They don't really really talk about what was being said. They just throw these emotional talking points at people. And one of the things is that was brought up in the interview about him being an independent thinker, you know, and that's what it's all about, you know, him being an independent thinker. He marches to the beat of his own drum. Ice Cube always has, and I've always been a fan, and he pretty much is in the middle politically. Now, he was shown in pictures with RFK, and they're already attacking him for being in those pictures with RFK as well, some of these podcasts. And that's funny, because RFK is a Democratic candidate for president, and he was in these congressional hearings about censorship, and they were censoring him so he could even speak. So that's what it's all about. So of course him and RFK are being both kind of, you know, put out the pasture. So of course they would have their like-minded people, and they view these two as being part of the right side. It's so easy to, and it's very, it's very kind of I would say grade school kind of argument, like, oh well, you're on their side, you know. That's how they play, you know. It's very, you know, childlike. It's not, no, we're not, um, I'm hanging out with this guy RFKs because we are in the same boat. We are identical in thought and things that are happening to us, you know, because people like you are not allowing us to state our mind and speak our minds. And so of course they're going to go to places where, you know, free speech is advocated and exercised. And if it has to be a Tucker Carlson, why not? You know, and I thought the interview was actually not what they're trying to portray as Tucker coercing or exploiting Cube to or sway the conversation for him to talk crap about Black Lives Matter or Barack Obama. Those were his, for one thing, that's making it seem like he is a victim, like he doesn't know any better. No, who's the one who called who? You don't know that. I think he called over there and said, you know what? And he knew, because that was the first question that Tucker said. Why are you coming on this platform here when you know you're going to get backlash? And he says, I don't care. I'm an independent thinker. So he was the one who is orchestrating this whole thing. They're trying to make it look like Tucker's like, I'm going to get this black guy and I'm going to, you know, this controversial black guy or this Hollywood guy, and, you know, make him say these bad things about Barack Obama. No, he didn't even say bad things. He said there was some hope in it at first, but then, you know, nothing has changed, of course. And about Black Lives Matter, which is a scam. It's been debunked and everything, and they're still out there, you know, trying to say that Black Lives Matter is respectable and has helped a lot of people, but it didn't. It didn't help black people at all. And it was a bunch of 3 fat lesbian women who profited from this, you know, and that's another thing. There were so many different subjects that they went through. He was talking about being a man in America now, and that's another thing that is not really discussed, or the COVID shot, that about not taking the COVID shot. They don't talk about that in these platforms like the Breakfast Club or whatever. They just talk about the black and white thing. And he also brought up, which was really cool in the interview, about is racism being pushed way too much now? And yes, it is. It's just, and he said it's a bad movie. It is a bad movie, and it's so obvious. It's like, it's like, you know, they are pushing a narrative. You go on Netflix, and that thing is, you know, who owns a share of that? Obama, right? And you have shows like Dear White People. It's so stupid and it's so in your face. It's like, we don't even want to watch it. No one wants to watch it. And when you're trying to push, you know, these iconic characters, you either just leave them alone and just let it be what they are and write new shit. And that's why they got this writer's strike, right, in Hollywood, because they can't write shit. They just go, oh, let's just take The Little Mermaid and make her black, you know, and some stupid shit like that. No one fucking cares, you know. And I think that's the bad movie that keeps on playing all this stuff that's being pushed. Write some new shit with new characters, and if they're black, that's cool. If they're white, that's cool. It doesn't matter. Stop just... oh, you don't want to watch The Little Mermaid who's black? You must be racist, and that's why it's not selling. No, it's not selling because we've seen the movie the first time, and we loved that movie the first time, and now you're just throwing it in here, like even the Snow White thing, how she doesn't need Prince Charming anymore. It's not about that. It's about women empowerment, and it's just a bunch of crap that they're trying to just use these stories and everything, and polarize them into black and white, or women and feminism and all this crap, and no one's watching it. You know, I mean, the great example of that is because, you know, The Sound of Freedom made so much money in the box office than these heavy hitters, right? I mean, I love Tom Cruise films. He doesn't, his movies don't push that shit. Top Gun Maverick was great. And then the Indiana Jones, what happened? You know, it's because people are tired of it and people don't care, and it's just it's a shame that, and it's kind of sad seeing people like D.L. Hughley kind of just go along to get along, which is what Cube is saying, because it must be really bad to understand what's going on, but you got these psychological locks. You know, that's what Lauryn Hill would call it. You know, animal condition to just go along and get along and just say their talking points and call him a sellout. He turned down $9 million. You know, Ice Cube turned down $9 million of white, liberal, democratic, white supremacy money, right? He didn't, who's the sellout, right? No, he's not the sellout. He is based on principle. You know, he's like, gotta show his kids, this is the way I roll. This is the way we do things here. You know, be that example and not just take the money and then end up, you know, hiding from the press like Jamie Foxx. I don't know what his reasoning is or whatever. There's speculation because it was the jab or this or that. However, you know, he is part of that whole shut up, listen and do as we say kind of thing. And it's sad to see that just for, you know, just to do a part in a film or whatever, or do your job, and he didn't want to take it. I guess if you turn it down, right, and that was the whole thing. So if Jamie Foxx would have turned it down, then he would have been attacked. Like, he turned it down because he didn't want to take the shot, and I guess he couldn't survive or whatever. I mean, he still has, I'm sure he has fucking lots of money. He could survive and he could do his own thing. But you know what? I guess if you're in that club, you know, and they got something on you or for whatever, you know, then yes, then your servitude is and your life is pretty much set in stone. And it's kind of like it is kind of sad where someone like Ice Cube is, you know, he can do whatever he wants. He could, you know, he's not kind of living the example of Hollywood anyway. He's been with the same woman, his high school sweetheart, for, you know, almost 30 years or something like that. That's not a Hollywood thing. That's not, so he, just by his example, he's never been that guy, you know. Sure, when the videos are on and this and that, yeah, it is pretty much an act or whatever, you know. It's entertainment, you know. But at the end of the day, in reality, you know, this is the person, the people get the work and the person confused, you know. And you know, he ain't the same guy anymore on here, and that's the one thing that needs to be addressed more, because that's one of the talking points he always try to say, is that, you know, he is supposedly this guy about race and this and that. Maybe that's him, like 21 years old, but what he was saying in the interview was just like, no, it's not where you're from, it's where you're at. And where he's at right now is totally different from where he was from. And people need to shut up and listen, but they don't. They just, you know, like I said, they receive the talking points. He's on Tucker. And one thing that D.L. Hughley said about Tucker Carlson was like, he's never done anything credible. Which is stupid to say, because yes, he is credible because he got fired. All right, he got fired from trying to tell the truth about something on J6 or The Machine. So yes, he is fucking credible. That's why he's fucking fired, you idiot. And see, that is that's the mentality of these people. They're just very emotional. They don't really listen to what's going on or see what's going on, or if they do know what's going on, which is worse, and they just still continue to push whatever they have to push because they got to go along to get along. They're the ones who are slaves. You know, they don't want to let go of their riches and all this, you know, this newfound money, right? So it's just like what Kanye West's song, "The New Slaves," that's who he's talking about in that song, "The New Slaves." It's people like D.L. Hughley, you know, how he just signs contracts. You know, we don't know how to read, you know, and he just signs the contracts, and that's what I think about when I hear that song. That's totally about DL, you know. So that is my you know, video for today on Ice Cube and the backlash. You know, what are your thoughts? Are you on Team Cube, or are you still like thinking like, no, he's a sellout? Yeah, well, I don't think he's a sellout. You know, yes, he sold a lot of albums, right? And he sold, you know, a lot of tickets to the movies and whatnot, and he's his own person. But as far as a sellout, I think those people are the sellouts, you know, the gatekeepers that he's up against. So with that, I'll shut up and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.